Hola a todos, aquí Tori 2280. Continuamos con los crímenes de ABC. Y en el capítulo anterior, bastante largo, nos pasamos de la hora, pero estaba tan entretenido con el tema de los puzzles, con el tema de las neuronas. Habíamos averiguado algunas cosas que no podíamos dejarlo ahí. Quería dejarlo ya en un punto para empezar. Quería dejarlo ya en el capítulo 4, pero no sé si estamos ya en él. Sí, ya estamos en el capítulo 4. Han detenido en un principio a Alexander Bonaparte Cust, que es el asesino, este vendedor de medias, y creo que hemos salvado a la víctima del D. Vamos a investigar dónde vivía el asesino.
Marbury. There is a very pretty village by this name, in Cheshire.
Cheshire.
I've been going past this modest guest house for so long. I would never have thought that the ABC case would lead me here.
Han atravesado un grupo de pájaros la pared. ¿Lo habéis visto? Me he quedado yo callado. Impresionante, los pájaros atravesando. Es un pájaro fantasma. El rey del bug. Mira, Felipito VI. Vamos a mirar un poquito por aquí a ver si hay algo. Piano.
It is a very beautiful piano. Maybe Mrs. Marbury likes to play in her free time.
How do you do? You must be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Jupp told me that you might be coming.
Tin, 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 tin.
Madame, you may be of valuable help to me.
It would be my pleasure to help you. Will there be some journalists there as well?
I think you might even be interviewed. You are key witness.
I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, but my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cust left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined. As you can imagine, when I saw that, I called Scotland Yard.
Es inteligente. Pero ¿cómo se enteró de la guía de ABC?
One moment, please. How did you know that Cust had underlined Doncaster in his railway guide?
I went and had a look in his room.
I see. Do you make a habit of searching through your lodger's belongings?
Well, what are you going to do later? I bet you're going to poke around his room too.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cust?
He's rather queer. He talks to himself. He has a bad cough. Because of the war, he says.
La gas mostaza.
And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
Ándale.
Where were the stains on the shirt?
Can't recall.
Cust used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Yes, although he was unwell on trains.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th?
No idea.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cust rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. Ah, I remember one thing. Bexhill's by the sea, right?
Indeed, it is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cust asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Very interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
When did he start buying the newspapers?
Let's see. I think it was just after the millionaire's murder in Churchton. He didn't seem all that interested before that.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his room.
Take the key on the counter.
Vale. Hay cosas que puedo mirar.
I should check the register. Mrs. Marbury may have been hiding something from me.
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cust rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
Tengo que esperar a que se vaya o...
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
Tengo un par de cosas que decirle a la señora Marbury.
It looks like I've found the real master of this house.
El verdadero amo de la casa. Un gato.
There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
¿Puedo seguir hablando con ella? Mira, primero vamos a verla.
This woman appears to be in a bad mood.
Va pelando patatas. Estos rápidos. Actitud huraña. Aspecto contrariado.
Mrs. Marbury is taking out her bad mood on the evening meal's potato. Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexhill murder? Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
If I did, it was because Mr. Cust wasn't here. What about it?
It doesn't matter, provided that you remember to change the sheets.
Of course I changed them. I keep a nice clean establishment, I'll have you know.
Había otra persona. Vale, registrar la habitación de curso. Vamos a vernos en el espejo. Tres puntos de ego.
This dark stain. It could be blood, but goodness knows how long it has been there.
Antitusivo.
Laudanum Cameron's Chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject will probably be useful to me.
¿No lo quedamos? No lo quedamos. Sedativo.
Diethyl barbituric acid, Johnson Company. I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative.
Para dormir.
This subject will probably be useful to me. How hopeful. This place is a real mess.
Este lugar es una leonera. Magia desordenada. Cama ligeramente desplazada. Abrigo descuidado.
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
Yo creo que se pone el señor Bonaparte.
War of 1914-1918. By the King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in a dispatch for gallant and distinguished service. An army dispatch, wounded on the Somme front, victim of a gas attack, Corporal Cust greatly deserves his distinction.
Vale. ¿Cómo está esto?
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
Vale, aquí tenemos el cuchillo.
A long-bladed knife. This subject will probably be useful to me.
Este puede ser del tercer asesinato.
It's an ABC. Cust is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury. John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street, Leicester. To A.B. Cust, Marbury's Guest House, 1935, May the 21st. Dear Sir, further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business letter. Regarding the schedule of your rounds, please do as following. June 21, Andover. Arrive by train the 20th in the evening and get a room at Station Hotel. Start your turn in the north part of the town. This letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churston. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes. Did Cust drop it when he opened the window, or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning?
No me cuadra algunas cosas.
I have to get the ribbon. How am I going to do it?
Recuperar la cinta. ¿Tengo que recuperar la cinta? Poor Mr. Poirot, I'm quite sorry for...
Something is blocking the ribbon. Something is blocking the ribbon.
No sé qué tengo que hacer aquí. ¿Esto va para arriba?
The right-hand heel has been removed.
¿Esto se puede quitar?
The left-hand heel has been removed. And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC. I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes.
Vale. No tengo que hacer nada aquí, ¿verdad?
All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
Por la I, por la W, creo que sea por ahí. Bueno, esto ya está.
It's closed.
¿Y si lo abrimos con el cuchillo?
This knife is very useful. Who knows? Maybe it never cut anything other than string. Stockings. Stockings.
Pues mira,
ABC guys. Enough to sign about a dozen murders. All the main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Churston murder onwards. Nothing before that date. Most probably the basting dress repaired by Mrs. Marbury's expert hands. The Bexhill Daily paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
¿dónde se encontraba Cust en el momento en que se produjo el asesinato de Bexhill? Él no estaba. Este es un diario local. Cust se encontraba seguramente en Bexhill el día del asesinato, porque es un diario local que se vende allí.
The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in Bexhill on July the 25th. No use continuing the inspection of this room. I've seen all there is to see.
Sí, pero me queda por ver.
Trousers, white shirts. Everything has been washed very well.
Bueno, ya he dicho que le ha visto todo lo interesante en esta habitación. Entonces, pues no nos podemos ir en un principio, ¿no? Hablar con Jack. ¿Dónde se encontraba Cust en el momento en que se produjo el asesinato de Bexhill? Cinco puntos de ego. A ver. Vale, ya está.
Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
I look forward to seeing you again, Mr. Poirot.
Ah, Chief Inspector. I was about to leave.
Good evening, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cust on the counter.
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established one fact. On 3 occasions, Cust was at the scene on the day of the crimes.
Vale, pues hablemos con... ¿Pero se puede ver algo? No,
There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
Pero porque como ahora ha dejado de cortar patatas... No, ya hemos visto esto. Vamos a hablar con Jack.
I had best talk to Jap.
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot. For me, there's no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any element that might prove the contrary?
That is what we're going to look for.
Me parece muy fácil,
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Es algo que no me cuadra, o sea, no me cuadra. ¿Cust tuvo la posibilidad de matar a las 3 víctimas? Aquí, se encontraba. Cust estuvo en todas las localidades. ¿Cust y el asesino tiene algún punto en común? Vale, estas dos, seguro. Ese es el problema de la tos. ¿No? Tiene un cuchillo como que sirvió para apuñalar. Podría haber cometido esos crímenes. El comportamiento de Cust es sospechoso. Yo creo que sí. Guarda diarios que hablan de los asesinatos. Tenía sangre sobre él y mintió sobre su destino. Culpable.
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However, the blood Mrs. Marbury saw on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cut Sir Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Cheston, as if it discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that we should be able to clear up by questioning Cust.
When can we talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
It's plausible. Doctors say he suffers from absences and amnesia. Mrs. Marbury has confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
A familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
Chief Inspector, I took the liberty of removing a few clues to examinatum.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if you've missed something.
Vale. Estoy pensando que pueden haber dos asesinatos y este empezara con el C. Y es Scotland Yard.
To Scotland Yard, please.
Puede ser que este sea un segundo asesino y haya un primero. Vale, interrogar a Cust. Bigote principesco.
This man is not in good shape.
Chaqueta arrugada. Mirada baja. Gesto nervioso.
He is worried and very tired, and other police have been hard on him.
Vale, pues vamos a hablar con él.
What do you want from me?
Good day, Mr. Cust. I am Hercule Poirot.
Ah, you're the detective.
Why did you send me a letter before each crime?
Why all these questions? When are you going to stop pestering me?
O tendrá doble personalidad.
Maybe you forgot that you wrote these letters.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes I forget. Maybe I did type them.
Are you capable of murder, Mr. Cust?
All these questions are giving me a headache.
A ver, ¿dónde está el antitusivo? Es este.
Laudanum, a medicine for coughs.
Anda, chico, toma.
Take this. It will help you.
Thank you. Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well enough to speak?
Yes, I feel much better.
Vale.
Are you capable of murder, Mr. Cust?
All these questions are giving me a headache.
¿En serio? A la ley del ejército.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
Hacerle creer que es inocente.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
¿No será el empleador? Porque también le dio la
Let's
máquina.
see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards.
Por tanto, todo indica que fue usted quien las escribió antes de enviársela a usted mismo.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Se está viendo la web. Me parece que necesita un sedante.
Take this. It will help you.
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
Bueno, pues entonces nos vamos, ¿no?
And what conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Uf, ¿cuánto? ¿Qué sabemos de la salud de Cust? Pues parece hemóptisis, escupe sangre cuando tose. Es débil psíquica y físicamente. Su perfil no es el que cabe esperar de un asesino. Hay indicios que no concuerden con la culpabilidad de Cust en el asesinato de Charleston. Bueno, pues entonces está el tema del asesinato en la pechera. Vale, previsible la camisa del asesino tuviera manchas en las mangas y no en la pechera, en este caso sucede lo contrario. Hay indicios que no concuerdan con la culpabilidad de Cust. Digamos que este. ¿Y este? No parece reconocer, aún no puede determinar su culpabilidad con seguridad. ¿Se puede afirmar de manera irrefutable de que Cust es culpable? Es inocente.
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Brillante. Efectivamente, volvemos a este asesinato, sin importar de qué manera tan brillante fue ejecutado. Este fue... ¿Cust es astuto? O sea, no lo sé. No sé. Ya por la sangre, no. Bueno, vamos a ir probando. ¿El del tren? No. Mediocre. A esas horas las calles estaban abordadas. A nuestro asesino no le faltó arrojo. Si tiene miedo de ir en tren, pues tampoco. Dubitativo y tímido. Normalmente los vendedores a domicilio tienen mucho aplomo, pero este no era el caso. Influenciable. El hombre sedujo a Betty antes de llevarla a la playa, donde la estranguló. Seductor. Pues no. No tiene encanto. En realidad es verdad que no tiene encanto. Que no... A mí me parecía muy raro. Dije, ¿cómo se puede llevar? Decían que era guapo y después este era un tío gafas, medio calvo, tonto. Y al otro le gustan los trenes y a este le cuesta ir en trenes. O sea que, en verdad, parece como que lo quisiera incriminar. Y yo estoy empezando a pensar que es el dueño de la tienda que le regala la máquina y todo. Frío. Si no fuera por la guía ABC, habríamos sospechado del señor Asher y del señor Fraser, pero él afirma sus crímenes. El asesino consigue que lo acusemos exclusivamente. En cierto modo, es muy generoso de su parte. Es avaro, Cus es ahorrador, guarda sus lápices y saca punta hasta que no queda nada de ellos. Se ve que no creció rodeado de lujos.
You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual or repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
Regresar a casa. ¿Puedo mirar un poquito la fachada o algo por aquí? ¿No? Pues volvamos a casa.
To Whitehaven, please.
Cust's arrest is a great success for you, Poirot. It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as we say.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait 1 moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Vale. Traer el arma a Hastings. Yo creo que es porque sospecha que uno de los que va a venir es el culpable del asesinato.
Churston, Devon, population 500 inhabitants. Hourly of trains. London, Churston. Trains of evening. London, 6:45 p.m. Newton about 11 a.m. Churston, 11:45 a.m. London, 11:45 p.m. Newton about 6:08 a.m. Churston, 7:15 a.m.
¿Quién habrá sido el asesino? Tengo ganas de saberlo. Hastings Huntings. Pero esto ya lo habíamos visto.
Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag.
¿Dónde estará el arma? ¡Tarán! ¡Tarán! ¿Dónde estará el arma?
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real bullets. The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks.
¡Ostras!
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets.
Me quedo con las de fogueo. Me quedo con las de fogueo. Me voy a arriesgar.
My revolver is loaded. I now have to give it to Hastings.
Pero no fastidiarla, ¿vale? 1, 2, 3. Qué mala es esta revuelve.
Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used. It is almost new. Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you, he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Vale. Vamos a acabar el capítulo aquí. Y os voy a dejar con todas las ganas de saber qué es lo que va a pasar. O sea, esta es ya la deducción final y creo que aquí encontraremos al asesino. Por lo que el próximo capítulo puede ser cortito. Me voy a arriesgar, pero vamos a dejar que el próximo yo creo que sea para el final. ¿De acuerdo? Os dejo lo mejor como las películas y las series. Un placer estar con todos vosotros aquí, Tori 22 de los 80. Nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta luego, gente. Chao.